Die.
Evening the odds.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another LEGO Batman Legends of the Dark Knight video. It's been a while, hasn't it? Happy New Year's, ladies and gents. Or late New Year's, depending on when this video is uploaded. As the title and intro suggests, I'm going to be talking about 5 things I want to see from the Arkham Trilogy DLC pack for LEGO Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. I obviously know this is going to be a little bit different than the previous DLCs that we've gotten from TT Games, like the Shazam movie DLC and others. So, a very quick disclaimer before we begin. This list is mainly for things that I would like to see and nothing that has already been confirmed or hinted at being confirmed. So there will be no obvious things like characters having certain costumes from the Arkham series of games, like Jim Gordon, Batgirl, Robin, and Nightwing having their respective Arkham outfits. Pretty sure we all know that's already confirmed, like there will be more LEGO Arkham costumes for Batman. The same goes for vehicles as well, so no Arkham Asylum Batmobile, because obviously if we're getting Arkham Knight's Batmobile, it's most likely we're going to get Arkham Asylum's as well. And recently with the Game Awards trailer, they kind of hid the fact that they were already doing that, which I broke down previously. So with all these disclaimers out of the way, let's actually get into the list. Starting with... the first thing I would like to see is references to the non-trilogy games like Arkham Origins and Arkham Shadows. Now, before anyone says it, yes, I know this DLC is going to be focusing around the core 3 Arkham games made by Rocksteady, discounting Suicide Squad. But I personally feel that Arkham Origins and Arkham Shadows should at least get references, even if we're not going to get playable levels for them. Despite WB's hate for Arkham Origins, and Arkham Shadows is a recent addition to the Arkham canon, so in some small way, even if we're not going to get playable levels for the other games that weren't made by Rocksteady, we should at least get a reference to them in some small fashion. Moving on to the next thing I would like to see, that is official versions of Arkham villains in LEGO form. Because LEGO fans in the past have tried to take Arkham villains and make them into LEGOs before, and we've never really had actual official versions of this concept. And with the game itself, we do see that there are multiple versions of the Joker, so having an official version of LEGO Arkham Joker, or even Arkham villains as well, because most likely we're going to see villains themselves actually have different outfits, so making them have the Arkham versions of themselves would be pretty interesting, because we know that the game has canonical villains like Two-Face, Penguin, and so on, so having the Arkham versions of these said villains would be pretty cool as outfits or just minifigures, regardless of the game only having a certain amount of characters to play as. But moving on to the next thing I would actually like to see, the third thing I actually want to see is LEGO versions of the iconic boss fights from each Arkham game. Now, hear me out first, because I know this is probably a reach and we're probably not going to see something like this happen, but boy would this be awesome. Because each Arkham entry has a plethora of bosses, and some of them being incredibly iconic to the series. And if the story mode is a different version of the Shazam DLC, we would probably have a boss fight with some of the iconic figures of the Arkham games, and how cool would that be to relive those said boss fights but in LEGO form? For Arkham Asylum, we could have the Scarecrow sequence, Poison Ivy, Bane, and Joker fight. But for Arkham City, we have some amazing boss fights as well, like the Mr. Freeze boss fight. How cool would it be to relive that stealth fight in LEGO form? And it would make sense because they've added stealth to the game, so it would be pretty cool, even having the Solomon Grundy fight as well. Moving on to the next thing I actually want to see. The next thing I actually want to see is a longer runtime when it comes to the story mode and levels. Know that the Arkham DLC is most likely going to be somewhat short, which I do understand because they are having to condense the storyline of each mainline Arkham entry into a mini DLC, and I do get that. But I do feel like it should have at least a little bit longer of a runtime and more levels for each main Arkham game. Something similar to what they've done previously with Harry Potter and also the Skywalker saga, where each mainline Arkham game gets maybe 4 or 5 levels to be generous. This way it doesn't feel very rushed, and it's like a smaller, streamlined version of playing through each so-called movie like with Skywalker, and also book like in Harry Potter. I actually want to spend some time in this DLC, and I don't want it to be rushed, so I obviously don't want them to have it to where you're playing the first level in Arkham Asylum, the second level in Arkham City, and the third in Arkham Knight. You actually play through the storylines of each game. And the fifth and final thing I actually want to see from this DLC is... this is a must-have, but also an optional thing I would like to see, and that is not using the new actor for the DLC and actually reusing some of Kevin's lines from the game. And also having tributes to the iconic Arkham actors who have passed away, like Arlene Sorkin and Kevin. Well, I know this is one that's probably not going to happen, but I actually would like them to reuse some of Kevin's lines from the Arkham games, especially having a dub with a new actor. It would feel very weird, especially if this is an Arkham DLC, so having a reuse of Kevin's lines from those games would actually make sense. And the same would go for Arlene Sorkin, at least for Arkham Asylum. Now, you could have Tara Strong, who replaced Arlene Sorkin for Batman Arkham City, actually redub the lines. I feel that would be a disservice, so having her actually keep her lines from Arkham City and Arkham Knight, having Arlene's lines be reused from Arkham Asylum still would work. It would be a very difficult one because you would have to ask permission from the family and other various things, and I know it would be easier just to redub the lines, but I just don't like the idea of it because it wouldn't feel like Arkham. This isn't like Arkham Origins, where you can kind of get away with that, having a prequel version of younger characters in the Arkham series. With that, I can and you can give it a pass, but with this is actually playing through LEGO versions of the iconic core Arkham trilogy games, Arkham Asylum, City, and Knight. So not having Kevin's voice that was a core part of those games and having someone else do the character would feel very strange and not work as well. So for me personally, it's something that I feel like they should do and actually honor the Arkham series by reusing the original lines from each said game, but slightly tweaking them to making them a little bit kid-friendly because there is some swearing in those games. From the villains at least, but let me know your thoughts in the comments down below and what you want to see from the LEGO Arkham DLC for LEGO Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. I'll be looking at the comments to see some of your ideas. Make sure to like this video if you did enjoy, or change it to a dislike if you didn't. That's perfectly fine. And if you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification button to be notified whether I upload, whether it's Devil May Cry, Resident Evil, LEGO, or any other content under the sun. Have a good rest of your guys' night, morning, afternoon, or whatever it is for you in the world. Check out some of the other videos on this channel. Peace out. Bye-bye.